At Athian, we fundamentally believe that, and really it aligns very well with all of the presentations that we've had today, that the way to solve this problem is that no single company can do it on their own, but it requires widespread industry support in order to solve the problem of how do we dramatically decrease methane emissions. So the first step is it's got to be widely supported by the industry. And so we've attempted to find seed funders for our effort from each step in the value chain. Second thing is you've got to be able to aggregate data across the supply chain. I think especially Rabbi pointed out that you have to have access to data if you want to be able to effectively quantify where we are today and then track our progress over time. You have to be able to accurately benchmark where you are so that you can accurately portray the progress that you're making over time. But last but not least, nothing happens in this space until somebody pays for something. So compensation, especially for farmers, where most of this change needs to take place, needs to be an integral part of the overall solution. We're building the world's first carbon insetting marketplace for animal ag, and we really connect the value chain from consumer packaged goods companies and retail companies at the end of the value chain through industry processors all the way back to livestock operators and farmers themselves. And essentially, we give companies at the end of the value chain complete visibility to their greenhouse gas footprint and then access to purchase Scope 3 credits that they can use to offset their footprint. For industry processors, they play a pivotal role in facilitating the flow of data from farms all the way back to the end of the value chain. And for livestock operators, we give them free access to the platform in a low friction way and give them the ability to access incentives to fund sustainable practices. The way we do that is that we leverage OnFarm Platforms. So we would leverage tools like Cool Farm Tool, FarmES. There's a platform from Elanco called Uplook. And then we're looking at adding additional data sources over time. But today, a lot of our focus, especially for the first version of the product, is focused on methane reduction using feed additives. We then give the producer a snapshot of the ROI they can anticipate from implementing a specific intervention. And they can then calculate which intervention makes the most sense for their operations, implement that, and then we mint credits that are made available at the end of the value chain. And we give a similar view to the purchasers of those credits so that they can effectively calculate the impact that they're having. One thing that has come through, I think, has resonated from the feedback we've received from farmers is that the entire process of minting and tracking credits and implementing interventions on farm, if you have to do that on a yearly or even on a biannual basis, it simply doesn't match the way that they have to run their business. So essentially what we've had to do is we've had to automate each step in the process of tracking implementations, quantifying and doing validation and verification on farm, verifying and certifying any intervention that takes place, registering that as a credit, and then doing the real-time carbon accounting, making it available in a marketplace environment, and then funneling that funding back to the producer. We complete that process because we've automated each step in that process. We're completing that process on a 30-day cycle.